Fans, get ready, because the atmosphere on Tyneside today is one of those that makes the ground shake. We've got a player feeling unwell, a multi-million-pound signing under pressure, and to top it all off, an uncomfortable truth that even Eddie Howe can no longer hide. I'm Rodrigo, and you're watching Newcastle Mania, the channel made by fans and for fans who bleed black and white. So stick around until the end, because the third story is the main one, and it could completely change the course of Newcastle season and their Champions League journey. News 1. The Toon Army situation. We start today's video with a story that's got every Newcastle fan a bit on edge. Sandro Toon Army, one of the key pillars in Eddie Howe's midfield, could become a last-minute absentee for the match against Benfica. Howe confirmed in his press conference that the Italian isn't feeling well and didn't take part in the open training session. His words were direct, and they left supporters seriously worried. He's a bit unwell, and it'll be difficult for him to play. Toon Army has been one of the most consistent players this season. Since arriving at the club, he's barely missed a game, always showing intensity, leadership, and that trademark Italian grit. Beyond his technical quality, Toon Army brings balance, linking defense and attack, controlling the tempo, and giving the whole team the confidence to play their game. But now, Eddie Howe faces a massive headache. Joe Linton and Bruno Guimaraes are both absolutely exhausted after the battle against Brighton, and if Toon Army can't make it, Howe might be forced to improvise again in midfield, something he's been desperate to avoid. The concern is real, because Benfica are a tough, technical, and fast side. Facing a team like that without your midfield engine completely changes the rhythm of the game. Still, Howe remains optimistic. He said he believes in the group, that the team's performances have been good, but admitted that small mistakes have been costing valuable points. In his own words, "We're very close to becoming something bigger. The fans will make the difference against Benfica." And that's exactly what we expect. St. James Park is set to be packed to the rafters, roaring with energy, pushing the lads forward every second, because this match could be the turning point of the entire season. Toon Army will be reassessed right up until kickoff, and the club will give him every possible chance to play. But if he can't make it, the message is crystal clear. The team will need unity, fight, and the power of the fans more than ever before. In short, the mood is hopeful, but with a hint of tension in the air. Once again, St. James Park will need to become that famous 12th man, and maybe, this time, the most important one of all. News 2. The Elanga case. Alright, Toon fans, let's talk about a situation that's been giving Newcastle a real headache lately: Anthony Elanga. The £55 million signing still hasn't shown the full potential that made the club take such a big gamble on him after that impressive season with Nottingham Forest. In the last match against Brighton, Elanga was subbed off at halftime, and that set off alarm bells. His adaptation to life on Tyneside has been slower than expected, and fans are starting to wonder, when are we going to see the real Elanga on the pitch? Former Newcastle player Chris Waddle spoke about the situation and gave a pretty interesting explanation. According to him, the issue isn't talent, it's style of play. At Forest, the team played in a completely different way, sitting deep, waiting for the counter, using Elanga's pace to exploit open spaces. But at Newcastle, it's the exact opposite. Eddie Howe's team likes to press high, dominate possession, suffocate opponents, and dictate the tempo. In other words, the style that once made Elanga shine now demands that he completely reinvent how he plays. And of course, that's not something that happens overnight. Waddle explained that the adaptation goes far beyond what happens on the pitch. He said it could take until Christmas for Elanga to truly feel at home, and that's not an exaggeration. He needs to get used to the city, connect with his new teammates, understand exactly what Howe wants from him, and most importantly, regain the confidence that made him stand out in the Premier League in the first place. In Waddle's own words, "You don't always hit the ground running. You've got to understand the club, the atmosphere, and even adapt to your life off the pitch. Sometimes it all clicks quickly, but in other cases, it just takes a bit more time." And he's absolutely right. The pressure on Elanga is huge. After all, it's not every day Newcastle spend £55 million on a single player. But those who watch closely know the truth: the talent is there. He's fast, skillful, intelligent, and has exactly the kind of profile that fits into the club's long-term project. All that's missing is that one spark, that moment that unlocks his best version. With a tough run of fixtures coming up, including the big clash against Benfica, Eddie Howe now has a crucial decision to make. Does he stick with Elanga, giving him more minutes to build rhythm and confidence? Or does he bring Jacob Murphy back into the starting 11, the same Murphy who came on against Brighton and instantly added more intensity down the right-hand side? It's not an easy call, and it could define how Newcastle's attack looks in the coming weeks. But one thing's for sure, fans need to be patient. Because the Elanga who shone at Forest is still there, he just needs the right moment and the right bit of time to truly light up St. James Park. News 3. The main one, the uncomfortable truth. Alright, lads, it's time for the main story of the day. Because there's a truth Newcastle just can't hide anymore, and, to be fair, even Eddie Howe can't deny it. The team simply isn't playing anywhere near its best. We already 11 games into the season, and there have only been 4 wins, and none of them truly exciting. Yeah, it's true, Newcastle beat Union St. Gilois and Bradford City without much trouble, but when the challenge gets tougher, like against Wolves or Nottingham Forest, the performance dips, the team loses control, and that spark we saw last season just seems to fade. And what about when the opponents are really strong? Liverpool, Arsenal, Barcelona, Brighton. In those matches, Newcastle have struggled to keep up the tempo, to show dominance, to play with that high intensity that became the club's trademark. And yes, Howe isn't wrong when he says the team deserve more points, because in many of those games, the effort was there, the hunger was there. But that's not the real problem. The real issue is that something crucial is missing. That good arrogance, that fierce confidence that made this team shine last season, it's gone. We're missing that Newcastle that walked onto the pitch and made opponents feel the pressure. The team that played with soul, energy, and personality. The one that looked fearless, ready to take down anyone. And of course, injuries have taken their toll, big time. Jacob Ramsey and Yoane Wissa still haven't been able to show what they can really do. Tino Livramento and Lewis Hall remain sidelined, which limits the squad rotation and forces Howe to rely on the same players, wearing them down even more. On top of that, you can clearly see some of the lads are exhausted, both physically and mentally, after such a packed schedule. There's barely been time to breathe, let alone recover. But despite all that, there are reasons to believe. The defense is still solid. Nick Pope is in brilliant form. And Nick Woltermaid, the young striker, has been one of the most exciting surprises in the Premier League, confident, composed, and showing exactly what's been missing from others, fearless energy. And if there's one thing Newcastle fans truly appreciate, it's a player who gives absolutely everything until the final whistle. Even with all the obstacles, the squad still has quality, still has talent, and, importantly, the dressing room remains united. What's needed now is to rekindle that fire, that spirit that turned St. James Park into a fortress and made Europe talk about Newcastle with admiration. What's missing is attitude, hunger, intensity. We need that team back, the one that refused to lose even in training, that celebrated every tackle like a goal, and that played with pure passion. That's why this moment is absolutely decisive. No more living on almost. No more great performances without results. It's time to turn effort into real victories, and that starts today, in this crucial match against Benfica, which could become the real turning point of the season. And the message couldn't be clearer. If Newcastle United truly want to be respected across Europe, they have to bring back that courage, that energy, and that identity that made the world fall in love with this club. Because the Newcastle that fans love is the Newcastle that plays without fear, that faces anyone head-on, and that never forgets the reason why they wear that shirt. So there you have it, Toon Army, a day full of tension, hope and reflection. From Toon Army feeling unwell, to Elanga still adapting, to a team searching for its true identity, Newcastle are at one of those defining moments of the season. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think the team will rediscover their best form against Benfica? Or will this up and down phase continue a bit longer? Drop your thoughts in the comments, I really want to know what you think. And of course, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and join this amazing community of Newcastle fans who never stop believing. See you in the next video, lads. Howe the Toon.